Hello, my name's Esther, and this is my ADHD lifestyle blog. I used to have TikTok. I was vlogging through that, but TikTok is terrible for my brain. Probably for everybody's brains. And anytime I'm on there, I get sucked into mindless scrolling for hours. Hours. I did not think it made sense to put more content onto this platform that I already don't like getting onto in the first place. I just get on there, post my thing, and delete the entire app, so we're not doing that anymore. Instead, we're on YouTube, where I have to post longer videos because that's like how YouTube works, and I hate YouTube Shorts. I really hope they do not take over. And longer YouTube videos mean I have to actually think through what I post and think through what I watch. And you can turn off YouTube autoplay so that you don't get caught as easily in the mindless scrolling through and through and through and through and through. Okay, so I'm on YouTube now, and I'm trying out ADHD hacks that other people have on other platforms, and I'll try to give credit where I find that. And I'm telling you about things that I've done for a long time that have worked, and I'm trying to come up with new ideas that work for me because I need help, and the Lord knows that I need to admit that I need help sometimes. So this is me admitting that I need help a lot of times, and you probably need help too if you clicked on this video, so here we go. This is my mission statement. Hopefully this channel reaches someone who is trying to figure out college with ADHD. Like me, I figured out I had ADHD when I was in college. High school is fine, and then college is too much. All the things, could not keep track. If you're figuring out adulthood and ADHD, which will be me in exactly one semester, so that's terrifying, but also really fun. If you're figuring out relationships and ADHD, I am not there yet, but I'm sure that in the course of this channel, we'll have to navigate that more. Or if you're navigating your faith in ADHD, because if something affects your brain, it affects everything around you, and so these are all of the things I come up with. But okay, today is all about starting the new year off right. New Year's resolutions, new year, new me. We do not believe that here. We're setting realistic goals. And then later on, we're also gonna work on planning skills, or at least planner skills. And, oh, what was the other thing? Okay, so New Year's resolutions, this section. Okay, so today, I am setting my 2023 New Year's resolutions. I love setting New Year's resolutions. I do it every year since I think I officially started setting them in 2020. But before then, I already had the mindset that I built up over time of you should not be starting anything at the start of the new year that you couldn't just start today. So for me, New Year's resolutions are not about I need to totally change my life in this new way. It's about setting goals that are going to be measurable at the end of the year. So if I have other goals that I want to accomplish, I also have a list for those. It's called my life list. And those are things that are it's like a bucket list, but it can include anything from paint my nails yellow to somebody writes a song about me someday because they're in love with me. And both of those things make it onto the list because it's things that never have to get done, but they could get done, and I'd like to get them done. And this is just a reminder that New Year's resolutions are not setting unattainable goals for yourself. They're things that you can practically find ways to achieve, but are going to take a little bit of work, and you're going to be able to measure them throughout the year. And you're also going to need to look at them throughout the year because it's not just one attribute that you're going to become. It's like a set of things or a number of things you're going to accomplish or something like that. Guys, let me tell you, naturally, my brain and New Year's resolutions do not really mix well because I, like a lot of other people, like to set huge goals, not even just for New Year, just all the time, and think that I can accomplish 4,000 days of things in 365 days. Or more realistically, I can watch a 20-minute episode of a show in 5 minutes. I don't know, it does not make sense, but it happens all the time. So today I'm setting my New Year's resolutions, and I'm telling you about how I set my New Year's resolutions so that I can actually accomplish them. Okay, number one, we're going to write everything that we want to do in this entire year, or all the unattainable and attainable things, a huge list of them. And before you write your list, sort it into a need to do, want to do, and somebody else wants me to do it list, if you can. Just use your best judgment on that. Keep compiling it, really come up with this massive thing of all these things that you're passionate and excited about. This is your Pinterest, YouTube, go through everything you've ever saved, that every video you've ever liked, and just find all the things. I made a mood board on Pinterest specifically for my New Year's resolutions. You can do this whatever way you like, but I think mood boards are super fun. I have no idea if they work for like whatever manifesting. I don't know if I really believe in that, but they're really cute. Like look how cute this little bathtub is, or like watch sunsets more. That'd be a good one. Ride my bike more. Have a garden maybe. Okay, now that you have your huge list, you're gonna pick out 3 things, like 3 total things, and those are gonna be your New Year's resolutions. You can pick less than this if you want, but only 3 things get to make it to the official New Year's resolutions list. I like to try to pick one that has to do with caring for myself, one that has to do with something I can do for other people, and one that's like fun or like a skill or something like that. Okay, now that you have your 3 things, you're gonna turn them into like actionable, attainable steps. Like pick the first one and turn it into a whole list of things you need to do. And like that includes all of the things that you think you're not gonna need to write down. Like call this person on the phone and ask them about this thing, text this person this 3-word sentence, like everything that could possibly be a step involved, you write that down. So if this is not the way your brain works, that's fine, don't do this. But for me, it's less overwhelming to see a list of accomplishable tasks and way more overwhelming to see a big thing that is just like, I don't really know what I'm gonna have to do to get to that goal. Okay, also in this time is when you're going to tweak your goals a little bit in case they're not really attainable. So like last year, I really wanted to read 100 books in a year because I saw somebody else do it. I was like, that's cool. I like to read. I don't read enough. Okay, I'm gonna read 100 books in a year. And then we got to the planning phase, and turns out when you do some math, that is more than 3 books. No, it's 1 book every 3.5 days. And I'm not talking about reading picture books. This is like chapter books, things actually, more interested in reading. And I take approximately 2 weeks to a month probably to read a chapter book, especially at the pace that I was going the year before, which was like 5 books in a year. So we had to tweak the goal a little bit and say, okay, if I'm going to take 2 weeks to a month to read a book, what's the more realistic timeline for how many books I can read in a year? So like 12 books in a year would be once a month, but I wanted to challenge myself, so I did 25 books in a year, and that was the goal. Unless you come back to this list, you're not even going to remember to ever accomplish this goal. Give yourself some reminders, set timers, whatever it is you need to do, and figure out what days you need to accomplish certain things. So like 25 books in a year, that means like 2 or more books per month. So I gotta write 1 through 25 on a piece of paper or in a Google Doc and give myself reminders that I need to read 2 books or more in a month, and figure out where my local library is, get a library card, start checking out books or find other ways to obtain books, and write down the titles of books in my list when I finish them so I know how far along to my goal I am. Step number 4, we're offering ourselves room to fail. This life is not a competition. Reading and working out and learning new skills is supposed to be things that add to your life. It's not supposed to add to your resume. Maybe if you're a librarian, I don't really know. But this is not the kind of thing that you're doing for anybody else. This is just for you. So if you're like me and you get to December and you still have 10 books to read, you're not gonna freak out and quit and not even try to finish that goal, which I didn't want to do. But I decided, let's just get to 20 books. I was at 16. I needed a bunch more, but I did my best and I actually got to 22 books. My goal was 25, so I did not make it to 25 books, but I read 22 books in a year. And that's actually, it worked out fine because, 22 books in 2022, it's really cute. Other people were doing that goal on purpose, and I didn't even know. So, everything works out, it's fine. For me, a lot of my life feels like to-do lists. Feels like every day it's just a list of things to get done, and super mundane and super boring. So the point of New Year's resolutions and my life list and stuff is not to add on to my list of things that I have to do every day. Because for me, brushing my teeth, brushing my hair, taking a shower, nothing is a given it's for sure gonna happen. It's all takes every single day. But the New Year's resolutions and life list are not the same as all of the things that I have to do every day. These are like the additional things that I get to add to my to-do list because, society tells me I have to brush my teeth. And so does my dad, because he says my teeth are gonna rot out of my head. So maybe I can't stick it to the man and say I'm not gonna brush my teeth today because that's kind of gross. But I can say, you know what? Maybe I have to brush my teeth today, and that feels really gross every single day of my life. But at least I'm gonna make a random YouTube video. So that's something that I like to do, just for me. Making New Year's resolutions is not about forcing yourself to have another thing you have to do. It's about taking your life back. Okay, here's how we're gonna set up a planner. First things first, we're gonna find a planner that has 1 week on one side and nothing on the other side. This one actually has some writing on the other side, but we're disregarding what's there. We have Monday through Sunday, and then room on the other side to do what we want. Okay, we're gonna flip to a new section so I can show you just how I decide to customize this. So this is the month of June, so I haven't done anything to this page, but this is what I will do to every single page in this planner. I normally like to spread it like first semester, I'll work on everything for first semester then stop, and then over winter break, I'll work on second semester. Okay, so for starters, I really like that Monday through Friday are the big spaces, and then Saturday and Sunday are little, because Monday through Friday are when I want to get the bulk of my work done. Sunday is my rest day, and Saturday I can catch up things, but I won't have nothing to do by Sunday. And I know this might seem intuitive, but until I got to college, I would always, like, if it was Monday and I got an assignment that was due on Friday, in the Monday slot, I would write assignment for history class due Friday, because I thought, okay, it's Monday, I'll just write in the Monday box. So in case you're like me and that is not an intuitive thing, only write in Friday what's due on Friday, Monday is for what's due on Monday. And if there is something like, okay, I have a project due Friday, so I'll write, let's pretend it's history class. I'll write history, project due, and then I normally like to write the time, so we'll pretend it was 11:59 that it was due. This is the last point I can do this, so that means I write it in that very last point it's due. But since I'm probably going to need to work on that project, I could write something up in Monday, but I want to make sure that I know it's not due Monday, so I don't freak out on Monday if I haven't done anything and I see that there's this project due and I don't read close enough to see that it's due Friday. So what I make sure to do is make sure that every single time I see this, I know if it's actually due or if it's something I need to be working on, is I'll write in parentheses the exact same thing. So history, project due Friday, and the parentheses tell me to look for a different due date than this actual day. But since it's written in there, I know if I have enough time on Monday, I can work on this thing and help myself out for Friday. But if I don't have time, I know that I'll have time in the future to complete this thing since it's in parentheses. Okay, more basic stuff. If we get to the end of a day, like if today's Friday and I finish my history project, then I'll cross it out with a straight line. And if we get through the day of Friday, let's say I have another paper due 10 p.m. Let's say I did not do this on this day. So what I used to do was leave it there, leave it unchecked since I didn't finish it, and hope that I would get to it later and at least turn it in late. But what I realized is once I get to Saturday, I don't really look back through all of these days and see what I don't have done. So instead, what I need to do is show a way to say I did not get something done or something didn't get completed, and then write it again on another day. So for example, I did not get this paper done by 10 p.m. Friday. So first I'm gonna move it down for Saturday. And then on the Friday section, I'm gonna cross it out with a squiggly line, which shows me I did not finish that thing. But Friday's over, can't go back in the past and change things, so we cross it out with a squiggly line. And this is the basics of what I've been doing so far in college that has helped me get things done and know what I have to get done versus what I want to get done. Parentheses are also something that I use for things that aren't really due, but things that I want to do. So like if I wanted to go roller skating, I can write that in parentheses and know that it's not a requirement, but it's something that I want to do. So looking back, something that I struggled with in the last semesters is a lot of the projects or papers or tests that I was doing had multiple parts to them. This Unit 2 assignment, I actually had a lot of different parts. So I had 5 different sections of this assignment, And so what I decided to do for earlier in the semester was I would write a bracket and write down each of the steps so that I knew, okay, well, the first thing that I need to do is done and I can move on to these next things instead of seeing it as this huge assignment to do. I split it into smaller parts. And I really liked doing this. This was helpful to me. It's just not super organized. It got kind of messy and sometimes I would lose parts. So what I'm doing for next semester is in this section over here, which I normally use for just extra notes, is marking this whole section off, half the page. In this section, I could take, let's say I had a history paper. I'm gonna go through and write some of the things I'll have to do for that history paper. And I'll box this up. And now I know when I look at this history paper, okay, well, it's actually just 4 different parts. And I can work on just the intro today or just the body another day. And it's not so intimidating if I do it that way. But this was already something I was doing, but now I have a set aside space for it, so I'm more likely to do this. Okay, another thing that I'm adding for this year, so this one's experimental, have not tried this before, is adding a to call, to email, or to text section, because those are all things that I really struggle with doing or struggle with remembering doing. This planner actually has a to call and to email section over here, but since it's not connected to the actual days of the week, this section normally is for like ideas for me, and if I want to make sure I actually do something, I need to write it in a day so that I actually have some deadline and some motivation to do it. So what I'm going to do is write to call, email, text at the top here, and then draw a line down, and I'll draw a little box here. T-E-C, text, email, call, and have a little box in here. And now I have a set aside space every single day of the week. Remember to call, text, or email someone. So even like my best friend texts me, for some reason, it's just a lot of emotional effort for me to be able to text back anybody ever. Emails a little bit better and calls are the worst. So we need to have set aside days to do things. So if that means like I get a text on Monday and I know I have to respond by Wednesday, I can put that in Wednesday. Or if it's just, I have lots and lots of texts and emails to answer, but I know I probably don't have the emotional energy for all of them, I can write probably 5 or 6 in here, but I know instead of seeing 27 texts to answer, or emails to answer, I can space them out through here. And I know it seems like, okay, texting back in a week does not seem like a good idea, but I normally don't text back at all, so texting back in a week is an improvement for me, but we'll see how this works this semester and see if this is something that, if I can even get a text back, if I can even text one back in a week, that'd be a good improvement, but if we get it faster than that, then I might be able to change the system again. If texting, calling, or emailing is not something you struggle with, don't put that in there. That's just an extra thing to look at that you don't need. Use the extra space around to personalize it to the things that you personally struggle with needing to remember or needing extra reminders to do. For me, something that I want to do is also put in things that I want to do. So like there's a box here that's just the right size for a sticky note. So in this box, I'm going to every week put a sticky note or just write in the box a Bible verse that I want to memorize or at least look at or pray over every single week. And that way for the entire week, I get to look at that and have it in a place that I look at every day, sometimes multiple times a day. And then I'm more likely to think about it, remember it, pray over it. I always end up having extra little notes or things I want to remind myself of, or just any other little notes. And that is the basics. Another thing I added to my planner is in the back, I've added a calendar, and I just printed out and taped in some pages, and you'll notice they are sideways, and I taped them in backwards order actually, so that I can have, like, for this month, December page out, and I can open up to December. I can have my things I have to do for the week and my calendar out at the same time. And currently I actually use Google Calendar because it can move from my phone to my laptop and I can access it anywhere. So we'll see how much I actually use the calendar in here, but it's here if I want it. And I'm trying to possibly make the switch from a smartphone to a flip phone. And there's a lot of steps involved in that, but one of them is being able to have calendar with me at all times. So this would be a solution to that. So we'll see if this works. And like brushing my teeth is for me too, but feels like it's for dentists, okay? Like if I'm gonna brush my teeth, half the time it's just out of the guilt that I feel from my dentist. And guilt is not a great motivator for me, so it does not work very well. So, you know, put in the comments if you have solutions for how to get yourself to want to brush your teeth. I mean, I do it. I've gotten a lot better about it. I do it almost every single day. Most of the time, I do it twice a day. I promise. I hope they're not watching. But yeah,